I kept my name change a secret for 5 years. My parents had a strange sense of humor. When naming their kids, my brother got the name Everest, which he loved. Strong, unique, and meaningful. They named me Minnesota. They thought it was quirky and charming. But for me, it was a nightmare in school. I was teased mercilessly. Kids called me Minnesota, or just Soda Can. My parents insisted that everyone use my full name, saying it was a badge of honor. Even teachers winced when calling R. By the time I turned 18, I was done. I legally changed my name to Na and didn't tell a soul. College was a fresh start. Everyone knew me as Na, and for the first time, I felt normal. My boyfriend Aaron even said my name sounded elegant. I didn't have the heart or courage to tell him the truth. Fast forward 5 years. Aaron proposed, and I said yes. Everything was perfect until I realized my birth name would be announced during the wedding ceremony. I had no choice but to tell my parents and Aaron the truth. When I told my parents, they were furious. They called me ungrateful, saying I destroyed a piece of our family's legacy. Aaron's reaction, he just stared at me, speechless. Finally, he said, "Why didn't you trust me with this? The wedding's next week, and my parents refused to come." Aaron says he needs time to think. My brother Everest, though, texted me last night, "I wish I'd changed my name to You're Braver Than I'll Ever Be." I don't regret becoming Na, but standing at the altar next week, I wonder, will I be standing there alone? They say names are just words, but some names carry weight. Like anchors, you can never unhook. From my brother's name is Everest. Bold, towering, unforgettable. It suited him perfectly. Grew into it like a prophecy fulfilled. Confident, admired, respected. When people heard his name, they smiled. And then there was me, Minnesota, not Minnie, not Nora. Minnesota, like the state. My parents said it was quirky and charming. They thought it made me special. What it actually made me was a joke. From kindergarten to senior year, I was Minnesota, Soda Pop, or just Pop. Even teachers stifled grins when reading the roll. The worst part? My parents insisted everyone use the full name, Minnesota. They'd correct every time. It's a badge of honor. It wasn't a badge. It was a brand, burned into my identity like a mark I never asked for. So when I turned 18, I made a decision that felt like breathing for the first time. I legally changed my name to Na. Short, elegant, clean. Some people assumed it was short for something. Nahira, Nala, Nalia. I never corrected them. Because, for the first time in my life, I got to define who I was, and I wasn't going back. College was a rebirth. Nobody knew Minnesota. Nobody laughed when they heard my name. Nobody raised an eyebrow. And then came Aaron. He said my name like it was a melody. He'd whisper it when I was asleep, draw it on fogged mirrors, sign it on coffee cups with hearts. I told myself I'd tell him someday. Someday never came. Fast forward 5 years, he proposed under a sky full of lanterns. I said yes through tears. Everything felt right until last month. We were filling out the paperwork for the wedding, and it hit me like ice water down my spine. My legal history, my birth name, Minnesota, it would appear on everything. License documents, vows, registry. Even the officiant would read it aloud during the ceremony. There was no way around it. I had to tell the truth. I started with my parents. I thought maybe, just maybe, they'd understand. My mother cried, not from sadness, but rage. "You've erased your heritage," she spat. My father wouldn't even look at me. They said I'd betrayed them, that I destroyed a piece of our legacy. Then came Aaron. I thought he'd laugh, maybe even hug me and say it didn't matter. Instead, he stared, silent, like I was someone he'd never met. "Why didn't you trust me with this?" he finally said, not angry, just hollow. I tried to explain the bullying, the shame, how I just wanted to feel normal. He didn't yell. He just said, "I need time to think." The wedding is in 6 days. My parents have officially declined to come. Aaron has moved back into his old apartment to clear his head, and me. I'm staring at a white dress hanging in my closet, not knowing whether I'll wear it or pack it away. Last night, I got a message from Everest. I wish I'd changed my name too. It read, "You're braver than I'll ever be." I read that text 100 times, tears slipping down my cheeks, for the first time in years. Someone saw me not as a name, not as a statement, but as me, and still, I wonder, will Aaron come back? Will I walk down that aisle with a bouquet, or alone? I don't regret becoming Na, but I never realized that leaving behind a name might also mean leaving behind the people I love. Story 2. I always believed that trust was the cornerstone of our marriage. Emily and I had been together for 7 years, and we had built a life together in the cozy suburbs of Atlanta. We both had demanding jobs. Emily was a marketing manager, and I worked as a software developer, but we always made time for each other. At least, that's how it used to be. Lately, things had shifted. Emily seemed more distant, her laughter less frequent. I noticed her late-night texts and whispered phone calls, and my gut twisted with doubt. She's just busy with work, I told myself repeatedly, trying to dismiss the growing unease that gnawed at me. But then, one evening, my world tilted when Emily casually mentioned a party she was attending. "It's just a small gathering with some coworkers," she said, brushing off my concerns. "Jake from the office is hosting. You know him, he's harmless." Jake was charming, handsome, and a notorious flirt. My heart sank at the thought of Emily spending a night with him. Still, I didn't want to be that husband, jealous and controlling, so I smiled, nodded, and pretended to be okay with it. But deep down, I was anything but. That night, as I sat alone on the couch, my anxiety bubbled over. The clock ticked ominously, each passing minute amplifying my dread. By the time 2 a.m. rolled around, I decided I had to know the truth. I slipped on my jacket and drove to Jake's house, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and anger. As I parked a few blocks away, I felt like a spy in my own life. I made my way to the party, the sound of laughter and music spilling into the quiet street. My stomach churned as I approached the front door, but I was determined to confront whatever awaited me inside. Peering through the window, I caught sight of Emily, her head thrown back in laughter as Jake leaned in, whispering something in her ear. My heart shattered in that moment. The warmth of their connection was palpable, and it made my blood boil. I couldn't stay hidden any longer. I pushed the door open, ready to confront them. "Emily," a cowl bow, my voice slicing through the merriment like a knife. The room fell silent. Emily turned, her eyes wide with shock. "Mark, what are you doing here?" Jake stepped forward, an arrogant smirk on his face. "Hey man, it's all good. We were just what? Having fun." I shot back, my anger boiling over. "You think this is fun? You're my wife." Emily's face shifted from shock to guilt, and I could see her scrambling for words. "I can explain," she stammered, but I didn't want to hear her excuses. The betrayal was too fresh, too painful. "You know what? I don't need an explanation. You've already shown me where your loyalty lies." With that, I stormed out, leaving Emily and Jake in stunned silence. I felt hollow as I drove home, the reality of her infidelity sinking in. I had to do something, anything, to regain control of my life. I decided then and there that I wouldn't just confront her. I would make her understand the gravity of her actions. The next day, I devised a plan. I wanted revenge, sweet, poetic justice that would make her feel the pain she had inflicted on me. I wasn't going to just tell her off. I was going to create a situation that would force her to confront her choices. I started by pretending everything was normal. I acted as if I was willing to forgive her, and for the next few weeks, I played the dutiful husband. I showered her with attention, planning elaborate dinners and romantic evenings. I even listened patiently as she expressed her feelings of guilt about the party. "Mark, I never meant to hurt you. I just got caught up in the moment," she said one night, her eyes misty. I feigned understanding, nodding as I concocted my next move, while pretending to be the perfect husband. I reached out to Jake under the guise of wanting to mend fences. "Hey man, I'd love to grab a drink and talk about things." I texted him. To my surprise, he was eager to meet up. I knew he would take the bait. When we met at a local bar, I played it cool, acting as though nothing was wrong. We chatted about work, sports, and life in general, but beneath my calm exterior, I was simmering with a plan. I couldn't let him think I was weak. "Jake, I know you and Emily have gotten close," I said, casually bringing it up. "I get it, she's a great woman. But you know, it's not just a fling. I care about her." Jake laughed, his confidence oozing. "Of course, man. I respect your relationship, just having fun, you know?" "Yeah, well, let's just say that." "Fun can have consequences," I replied, letting the implications hang in the air. He shrugged it off, but I could see a flicker of uncertainty cross his face. I leaned back, satisfied that I had planted a seed of doubt. The next phase of my plan involved Emily's friends. I casually mentioned to a mutual friend that Jake and Emily had been flirting, embellishing the details just enough to cast doubt on their relationship. I knew this would circulate back to her, and I was right. A few days later, Emily confronted me. "Did you tell Sarah that I was flirting with Jake?" she demanded. I feigned innocence. "Flirting? No, I just heard some rumors, and I thought it was weird how close you two were getting." Her face twisted in confusion and anger, and I could see the realization dawn on her. "Mark, I swear it wasn't like that. I'm trying to fix this, please. Trust me." But I didn't want her trust. I wanted her to feel the weight of her choices. The following week, I escalated my revenge further. I arranged a dinner party with a few close friends, including Jake. I invited Emily, knowing that the tension would be palpable. As the evening unfolded, I watched with satisfaction as Emily's discomfort grew. I casually dropped hints about Jake's flirtations, watching as her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. "Hey Emily, isn't it funny how close you and Jake have gotten? I mean, you two were practically inseparable at that party," I teased, all while maintaining an innocent demeanor. Jake played along, feigning ignorance but casting sideways glances at Emily that spoke volumes. She squirmed in her seat, and I could feel the tension building. I was reveling in my calculated revenge, watching as her guilt and paranoia deepened. Finally, unable to contain herself any longer, Emily exploded. "Mark, stop it. This isn't funny. I'm just trying to point out how things can be misinterpreted. It's all about perspective, right?" I smiled, my heart racing with a mix of satisfaction and guilt. That night, after the guests left, the air was thick with tension. Emily turned to me, her eyes blazing. "You're being cruel." "I made a mistake, but this isn't helping anything, isn't it?" I shot back, the anger spilling over. "You brought this on yourself. You wanted to play with fire, and now you're getting burned." We stared at each other, the weight of our words hanging in the air. For a moment, I felt a pang of regret. I didn't want to lose her completely, but I wanted her to understand the depths of her betrayal. The weeks that followed were a mix of guilt and satisfaction. I had made my point, but the cracks in our relationship deepened. Emily tried to rebuild trust, but the foundations had been shaken. She admitted her mistakes and vowed to change, but the shadow of my revenge loomed large over us. Finally, one night as we sat on the couch in silence, Emily spoke up, double quotes Mark, "I know I messed up. I want to move forward, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm being punished for it." "Maybe you are," I replied, the weight of my actions pressing down on me. But I just wanted you to realize how close you came to losing everything. Her eyes softened, and in that moment, I saw the guilt and pain reflected in her gaze. I realized then that revenge had not brought me the satisfaction I thought it would. It had only pushed us further apart. In the end, it became clear that our relationship was at a crossroads. We both had to confront our choices and the consequences of our actions. Revenge had taught us both a harsh lesson about trust and betrayal. As I share this story on my channel, I want you to consider the moral complexities of revenge. Was my response justified? Did I go too far in teaching Emily a lesson? The journey of trust and forgiveness is a difficult one, but it's essential if we want to rebuild what's been broken.